Hi, this is Dominic, Joey and Jay here, and we're going to cover a kind of couple of experiences we've all had with clients whose primary goal is fat loss. Because it's what 90% of people out there, you guys are probably similar to me in terms of a lot of our clients are coming in, they just want to look better naked, and you know, they want to know what is the best way.
Definitely.
So we're talking marathon running, aren't we?
More or less.
More or less.
I think that's what everyone's.
That's what everybody out there is doing right now.
I think one of the big problems that we have with clients is the focus isn't in the right areas. You know, so just as an example, I was only speaking with a client on Monday morning. So the situation for this client was, for maybe the last 5 or 10 years, every time she wanted to lose weight, she would just run further, run for longer, and eat less food. And now that she's getting into her, say, her 30s, or you know, that isn't really working for her anymore, you know, so that's why she's probably come to find a trainer, you know.
And find the right way of doing things.
Exactly, so our program would be more or less set up like, you know, lifting weights and then some sort of conditioning towards the end. And she was worried that she wasn't doing enough cardio, you know, to lose weight.
She isn't getting her heart rate up.
Exactly. And the point which I tried to break down to her was that she couldn't press a 5 kilo dumbbell over her head for more than 5 or 6 reps. You know, so
that's really light, by the way.
So
5 bags of sugar.
So her focus should be on getting stronger, and as a result, when she gets stronger, she's going to have a bigger fuel tank to burn the calories, to burn fat, things like that, you know, and not worry about running further and eating less food. So I think that's a big problem. If you're not getting stronger, no matter what your program, no matter what your goal, strength should be seen nearly as the master quality, you know.
And so let's say if you take that as the master quality, for a guy or a girl, what are some basic sort of things they need to be able to do that will help them get stronger and improve fat loss? Because obviously it's building that bigger engine.
I think let's take the example of a woman, you know, for a woman, if she can do 1 or 2 chin-ups,
brilliant.
If she can do, you know, maybe 5 to 10 solid press-ups, none on their knees or anything like that, back in a good position, and also then we'll add in maybe either deadlift or squat her body weight for 2 or 3 reps or plus, you know.
You don't find many clients that can do all those things that are not in great shape.
No, if you
male or
when
female,
they do, they're gonna look like they can do it. Like that.
Exactly.
Once you hit those numbers in around there now, like as I say, some people are going to deadlift and squat big weights, but they're not going to be able to do the chin up or maybe the press up. So that's the sort of
the balance.
That's the balance, you know. And I think everybody that we have that can hit those numbers looks well. And say for a female, their body fat is going to be in around the 22%, just off our experience, you know. And then for anybody who knows, that's looking pretty good, you know.
Yeah. Definitely.
Or lower, I'd say, but 22 or lower, I would say.
Yeah, and again, it depends on how, you know, some people, we discussed this earlier in terms of how body fat is tested, so it's really irrelevant how the trainer is testing the body fat. What's important is that the testing is done the same all the time.
That's repeatable.
That's repeatable. So
that's even though the initial reading might be plus or minus 2 or 3% inaccurate, if you do the reading of a similar day, you know, at a similar time,
with the same
method, the exact same method, it is going to let you know how far you've come, progress-wise.
And do you do anything kind of different in terms of like metabolic conditioning at the end of the workout, or is that a good idea for fat loss?
Definitely. Well, we would definitely throw in some metabolic conditioning at the end of the workout. Now, it's definitely not the be-all and end-all, and the primary focus of the development of the client will always be strength.
And mobility.
Mobility in areas as well, mobility will come first.
Absolutely.
You know, they've got to move well before you can load them.
If we're creating that hierarchy, the mobility is the foundation.
Yeah, absolutely. So, first of all, they've got to move well, and then when they can move well, the emphasis is on making them stronger, because, as Jay said, with strength as the master quality, you can always get faster, but you have to get stronger first. You can get leaner, but you have to get stronger first. It's all built off the back of new strength. Now, again, as I said, strength will be the primary focus, but definitely if we've got time at the end of the session, which most of the time we do, and if the client is feeling particularly good after they've done a strength work, they will do some metabolic conditioning.
So you're predicating that on how the strength stuff goes.
Exactly.
So if a person's not feeling so good in the session, and they're just going to do the strength and a lot more mobility.
We might call it a day after the strength work and do a bit of rolling or stretching.
The only problem I would find sometimes with that is that I would find I've got clients that come in, and if they don't do a metabolic component where they've had their heart rate up, they don't feel like I didn't flog myself, I didn't kill myself. So it's getting into their mind that, you know, that it was more important to not dig a bigger hole,
That's it.
as opposed to
And
kind
again,
of
that's
flog
it.
themselves in workouts.
That's a hugely common problem in terms of, you know, people aren't happy until they've absolutely beasted themselves,
yeah,
and it's definitely not the best way to go. Like every single time you hit the gym to crawl out when your hands amazing.
Yeah.
I think as well though, for a lot of people, they haven't even got the strength to do the metabolic work. And the strength work, or what we're determining as strength work, is will have a metabolic effect. So if you take an example of somebody doing something like split squats, press ups, and chin ups, or a round type movement,
like this is what we would call like a strength circuit.
exactly.
You know, and
Yeah.
and continue. Sorry, you're about to
Yeah,
say.
so for a lot of people, that's going to get their heart rate jacked
Yeah,
up after,
absolutely.
you know, the first round they might be looking at you, and then you'll just say, listen, you know, if that's not getting your heart rate up, let's just do it with a heavier weight, or let's
Yeah.
go speed it up, let's reduce the recovery maybe in between each round. And for a lot of people, that's going to be enough
Yeah.
of
And
a metabolic hit, you know.
I've had clients, I'm sure you've got clients in that come from, let's say, endurance type backgrounds, so they've done running or swimming or triathlons, whatever. They'll come in and the wheels will completely come off when they start doing circuits like this.
Yeah.
Because normally the training that they are doing outside of the gym, or they have done for their endurance-based events, it's all been done at one pace.
Yeah.
So as soon as you introduce that kind of strength component in there, or that part where their heart rate is in a beneficial zone, that it's not in this comfort zone all the time, this is a new place for them to live in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but from a training perspective, I would probably run the same thing. Put the emphasis on mobility, a lot of work on strength, and then the metcon is determined on how they feel on the day. So
Exactly.
I sometimes would use things like EMOMs, every minute on the minute,
Yeah.
for a lot of clients, because I find it's a very easy way of modifying it throughout that EMOM. So if I was doing like on the minute every minute, so I might say, okay, I'm going to you do 45 seconds in the airdyne, take a 15-second break. When the next minute starts around, I want you to do 10 kettlebell swings.
Yeah.
And when those 10 kettlebell swings are up, you rest for the remainder of that minute, and let's run that for, let's say, 5 to 6 rounds.
And you can cut it short based off fatigue as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they're kind of really struggling to that component, or they're finding that easy, okay, we'll do the 10 kettlebell swings, and we're going to throw in 3 burpees in that other
Yeah.
bit.
Because
And
yeah,
you can modify that along the
you're
way.
programming on the fly.
Yeah.
Because again, if you see them do their 10 kettlebell swings and you know they've got a lot left in the tank,
Yeah.
you know, and they're going to have a lot of rest
Yeah.
then.
And that's the thing, I think, for a lot of trainers, is not to be afraid of like what you said there, of programming on the fly, of being able to modify.
definitely.
You might have a template and go,
It's the best,
oh, it's squat day today, you know, that might not be appropriate for the client on that particular
absolutely,
day. So be willing, and the same for people who are listening to this, you need to be, as you go on your training experience, you need to be willing to modify based on how you feel on the day. Now that doesn't mean act like a fucking pussy and just not do what you're supposed to do just because you feel, I'm a little bit tired. You still have to base it more on your training history. So once you've been training for a while and you've earned the right to be able to make those modifications along the way, then I think that's what determines. And then finish the workout with more mobility work and
absolutely,
that sort of side of things.
And I think the big thing with mobility work and things like that is to go after whatever the weak link is. So I know at the minute, like even things like the 30-30 squat challenge is, there's a lot of people on Facebook and things talking about it, which is brilliant. But
sit into a squat for 30 minutes.
yeah, but if your ankle
30
mobility,
days.
for instance, is the limiting factor, that mightn't necessarily be the best way forward. So it might be just 30 minutes wasted for a lot of people.
Absolutely,
You know?
I totally agree. Yeah.
So
Spend
it's
30
about,
minutes fixing your ankles.
so it's about kind of going after your limiting factors. And again, when it comes to fat loss, if the client has been doing 5Ks or 10Ks, they've got all the endurance they need. So what they need then to do is get stronger.
Yeah.
That's the way we try to try and program it for people.
That's it, definitely. Like it's if you've got like a team full, this is probably going off the point of small, but if you've got a team full of fast, strong athletes that move like crap, if you take them to the gym and just work on speed and strength, they're not going to really progress any much further very quickly. Whereas if you maintain the speed and strength and fix the way they move, then all of a sudden you've got a much more well-rounded personality.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's about fixing the qualities that are weak.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, guys, thanks for listening. And any questions, just stick them in wherever we post this on Facebook or we do the social devices. And thanks for your time.
Thank you. Always get stronger.
Boom.